Women often present themselves as strong, independent, and completely in control. They carry themselves with confidence, showing the world that they don't need anyone. But beneath that surface, behind the image they carefully maintain, there are hidden psychological weaknesses, deep-rooted triggers that can make even the most composed woman lose control. These aren't the usual tips you hear about attraction. This isn't about buying expensive gifts, using cheesy pickup lines, or trying to impress with status and wealth. No, this is about something far more powerful: psychology. Most men go through life completely unaware of these triggers. They assume that winning a woman over is about being nice, constantly proving their worth, or simply having good looks. But attraction doesn't work that way. It's not about logic, it's about emotion. And when you understand the emotions that drive a woman, when you recognize the hidden buttons that make her walls come crashing down, everything changes. Women won't just be interested in you. They'll be drawn to you in a way they can't explain. Because attraction isn't a choice, it's an instinct. And when you master these deep psychological triggers, you'll start to see something fascinating. Women reacting to you differently, looking at you with a spark in their eyes, feeling a pull toward you. They don't even understand themselves. This isn't manipulation. It's simply understanding what truly moves a woman at her core. So if you've ever wondered why some men seem to have an almost magnetic effect on women, while others struggle no matter how hard they try, the answer lies in these hidden weaknesses. Once you learn them, you'll hold the key to unlocking a level of attraction most men never even realize exists. And this all starts with one of the most powerful yet overlooked forces in attraction: dominance and leadership. Women are naturally drawn to men who take control, not in an overbearing or forceful way, but with quiet confidence and certainty. A man who knows what he wants and moves through life with purpose triggers something deep inside a woman, something she can't resist. It's not about being aggressive or trying to control her. It's about having a strong presence, making decisions without hesitation, and leading with certainty. Women instinctively test men to see if they can handle pressure. They might challenge you, push back, or create small moments of conflict just to see how you respond. It's not something they do consciously. It's wired into their psychology. They want to know if you are truly confident, or if you'll crumble the moment things get difficult. A weak man seeks approval, constantly checking to see if she's happy, afraid to make a move without her validation. But a strong man doesn't wait for permission. He sets the direction, stands firm in his choices, and lets her feel the security of his presence. When a man exudes this kind of confidence, it makes a woman feel safe, excited, and deeply attracted all at once. She doesn't have to wonder if he can handle life's challenges. She feels it in the way he carries himself. A decisive man doesn't ask, "What do you want to do?" every 5 minutes. He says, "Let's do this." And that kind of certainty, that ability to lead without fear or hesitation, makes women melt. It taps into something primal, something they can't ignore. When a man steps up and takes charge, a woman doesn't just notice. She feels it on a level she can't explain. And while leadership draws a woman in, it's physical connection that makes her stay. A woman might resist a man's words. She might even try to convince herself that she's not interested. But the moment physical chemistry comes into play, logic takes a back seat. Touch is one of the most powerful tools in attraction, and when used correctly, it can bypass all resistance and make a woman feel something she can't explain. It's not about being overly aggressive or constantly invading her space. It's about subtlety, timing, and understanding the way touch affects her emotions. Science proves this. Physical touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which creates a sense of trust, comfort, and desire. It's why even the smallest touch, a light brush on her wrist, the warmth of a hand on the small of her back, or a reassuring squeeze of her fingers, can completely shift the way she feels in the moment. It's not just about making her feel attracted. It's about making her feel connected. When a man understands this, he doesn't have to rely on words to build chemistry. He lets his presence do the work. The key is control. A man who knows how to use touch doesn't overdo it. He doesn't constantly reach for her or make her uncomfortable. Instead, he is deliberate and confident. He guides her through a doorway with a light touch on her back. He lets his fingers graze hers for just a moment before pulling away. He builds anticipation, allowing her to feel the absence of his touch just as much as the touch itself. This is what makes physical connection so powerful. It's not just about touch itself, but about the moments in between, the space where her mind starts to crave more. And just as touch creates a deep emotional bond, there's another force that works in the opposite direction, yet is just as powerful. The moment something feels just out of reach, human nature kicks in, and the desire to have it becomes even stronger. Women are no exception. In fact, they are wired to want what they can't easily have. This is why the men who are always available, always eager, and always putting a woman on a pedestal often get overlooked, while the men who remain slightly out of reach become the ones she can't stop thinking about. Psychologists call this the scarcity principle, the idea that when something is limited, it becomes more valuable. When a man is too easy to get, she assumes he has no options, and she treats him accordingly. But when a man is busy with his own life, when he has purpose and ambition that comes before her, she sees him as someone worth chasing. The irony is that the less a man prioritizes her, the more she prioritizes him. It's why women become obsessed with the men who are just a little unpredictable, the ones who don't respond immediately, who don't rearrange their schedules just to see them. That unpredictability creates tension, and tension fuels attraction. The key isn't to play games, it's to live with purpose. A man who is genuinely focused on his goals, his passions, and his growth doesn't need to pretend to be unavailable. He simply is, and that natural detachment makes a woman crave his attention even more. When he gives it, she feels special. When he pulls back, she wonders about him. This back-and-forth dynamic is what keeps her engaged, because at the core of attraction, it's not just about being desired. It's about being desired by someone who doesn't give himself away too easily. And this is exactly why a woman's attraction isn't built on logic or routine. It's built on emotion. A man who provides nothing but stability, predictability, and constant reassurance might seem like the perfect choice on paper, but in reality, he often loses her interest. Women crave emotional contrast. They need the highs and lows, the excitement of not always knowing what's coming next. If everything feels too steady, too easy, or too predictable, boredom sets in, and with it, her attraction starts to fade. This isn't because women enjoy drama for the sake of it. It's because their emotions drive their connections, and when those emotions fluctuate, they become more engaged. Psychologists have found that dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical, spikes when experiences shift between anticipation and reward. This is why the guy who disappears for a while and then suddenly reaches out again holds so much power over her thoughts. It's not the absence alone that creates attraction, but the contrast between the missing presence and the sudden return. That unpredictability triggers her emotions in a way that steady, constant attention never could. But this doesn't mean a man should play games or be intentionally toxic. The key is to balance stability with excitement. A man who knows how to tease, to challenge, to keep interactions playful and full of energy, creates an emotional roller coaster she can't resist. One moment he's giving her full attention, making her laugh, drawing her in. The next, he's pulling back slightly, letting her wonder, making her miss him just enough to reignite that spark. This natural ebb and flow keeps her emotionally invested, because for a woman, true attraction isn't just about feeling good. It's about feeling something deep, powerful, and unforgettable. Just as emotional highs and lows keep a woman hooked, so does the way a man speaks. His voice alone can create an irresistible pull, triggering feelings she doesn't even realize are forming. It's not just about the words he chooses, it's about how he delivers them. A deep, slow, and controlled voice naturally commands attention, signaling confidence, authority, and a sense of certainty that women instinctively respond to. Studies have shown that women are more attracted to men with lower-pitched voices because they associate them with strength, security, and even good genetics. But beyond pitch, it's the rhythm, the pacing, and the subtle shifts in tone that truly draw her in. Most men talk too fast when they're nervous, making their words seem less intentional and more reactive. Others speak too softly or uncertainly, which weakens their presence. But a man who understands the power of his voice knows when to slow down, when to emphasize certain words, and when to pause. Silence, used correctly, is one of the most powerful tools in attraction. A well-timed pause creates anticipation, making her lean in, waiting for what comes next. It forces her to pay attention, to feel the weight of his words, to become fully engaged in the moment. This is why charismatic men, whether in movies, leadership positions, or real life, always seem to have a way with women. They don't rush their words. They don't fill every moment with noise. Instead, they speak with intention, letting their tone do half the work. A casual statement, when spoken with the right level of confidence and control, can become infinitely more attractive than a long-winded explanation. Because attraction isn't just about making her hear you. It's about making her feel you, in a way that lingers long after the conversation ends. Just as a man's voice can draw a woman in, there's another powerful force that ignites desire without a single word: jealousy. Women are naturally drawn to men who are wanted by others. It's an instinct deeply rooted in psychology. When a woman sees that other women find you attractive, her perception of you shifts. You're no longer just another man. You're a man of value, a man who has options. And in her mind, if other women see something special in you, she starts to question what she might be missing. This is why high-value men are always in demand. They don't chase, they attract. Their presence alone commands attention, not because they're trying to prove anything, but because their confidence, purpose, and self-respect make them naturally appealing. And when a woman senses that other women are interested, it triggers something powerful, the subconscious fear of loss. Even if she wasn't fully interested before, the idea that she could lose you to someone else makes her want you more. It's human nature. People place more value on things that seem scarce, and the same applies to relationships. But the key is to create this social proof naturally. It's not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about being the kind of man who naturally attracts attention through his actions, lifestyle, and mindset. When a woman sees you surrounded by people who respect and admire you, when she notices other women drawn to your energy, she can't help but want to be part of that world. And that's when the dynamic shifts. She starts competing for you instead of the other way around. Because at the end of the day, a man who is genuinely valuable never has to prove it. The world sees it for itself, just as a woman's desire intensifies when she sees you as a man in demand. There's another force that keeps her hooked: sexual tension. Attraction isn't just about looks or status. It's about energy, anticipation, and the space between what is and what could be. Most men make the mistake of rushing, thinking that moving fast will get them what they want. But the truth is, the more you delay gratification, the stronger the attraction becomes. Women don't just want the destination. They want the journey, the build-up, the moments of uncertainty that make everything feel electric. Teasing and flirting are the tools that create this energy. A playful remark, a lingering glance, the lightest touch that leaves her wondering. These moments build anticipation. When you're too predictable, when everything is given too easily, the excitement fades. But when you introduce just the right amount of unpredictability, when she's never quite sure what's coming next, she can't stop thinking about you. That's why women enjoy the chase more than the catch. They crave the emotional roller coaster, the thrill of not knowing exactly where things are going, but feeling the undeniable pull of chemistry. The secret is to extend the chase without overplaying it. Give just enough to keep her engaged, but never too much that the mystery is gone. Sometimes you pull her in. Sometimes you let her wander. Sometimes you flirt and play. Sometimes you leave her in suspense. This balance keeps her mind locked onto you, unable to resist the tension you create. Because in the end, it's not about the moment things finally happen. It's about the build-up, the tension, the game that makes it unforgettable. A man who understands this will always have her full attention. Just like the build-up of tension keeps a woman hooked, there's another force that makes attraction even stronger: mystery. Women don't just fall for a man. They fall for the emotions he makes them feel. And nothing fuels emotions more than curiosity and fantasy. When a woman can't fully figure you out, when there's something about you that keeps her guessing, she can't stop thinking about you. Most men ruin this by oversharing, thinking that being completely transparent will make a woman feel closer to them. But the truth is, when you lay everything out too soon, you remove the excitement of discovery. Mystery isn't about playing games or being distant. It's about revealing things slowly, keeping her imagination engaged. A man who doesn't immediately explain every detail about himself becomes more intriguing. She starts to wonder, to create stories in her mind, to fill in the blanks. And in doing so, she becomes emotionally invested. It's the same reason why a great book or movie keeps people engaged. It doesn't give everything away at once. It pulls you in little by little, making you crave the next piece of the story. Leaving things unsaid is one of the most powerful tools of attraction. Not every question needs a direct answer. Not every thought needs to be shared. When you hold back just enough, when you let her wonder about you, she starts to chase. She wants to understand you, to be the one who uncovers your depths. This is how obsession starts, not through force, but through the irresistible pull of mystery. A man who masters this will never be forgotten because he doesn't just exist in her life. He exists in her mind, where attraction is truly born. The same way mystery pulls a woman in, power and status make her stay. Women are instinctively drawn to men who exude authority, not the kind that comes from arrogance or empty bragging, but the quiet, undeniable presence of someone who is respected. A man who carries himself with confidence, who moves through life with purpose, creates an aura that women can't resist. This isn't just about wealth or titles. It's about the way a man handles himself, how he commands attention without demanding it. Looks may catch a woman's eye, but power and status capture her mind. A man who knows his worth, who stands firm in his beliefs and decisions, creates a gravitational pull. Women are naturally drawn to leaders, to men who take charge without hesitation. It's why indecisiveness is such a turn-off, because it signals weakness. When a man knows what he wants and isn't afraid to go after it, he projects strength, and that strength is magnetic. It's not about controlling others, but about having control over yourself, your emotions, your choices, your destiny. True power starts with self-respect. A man who respects himself sets boundaries, refuses to tolerate disrespect, and never chases approval. Women notice this instantly. They're far more attracted to the man who values himself than the one who constantly seeks validation. This is why the most sought-after men are those who command respect from others. They don't beg for attention. They don't seek approval. They simply exist as their strongest, most confident selves. And that alone is enough to make women desire them, because deep down, every woman wants a man she can look up to. A man who understands emotions holds the key to a woman's heart. Women don't fall in love through logic or a checklist of qualities. They fall for how a man makes them feel. The most powerful connections are built on emotional experiences, not just words or actions. When a woman feels a rush of excitement, anticipation, and even moments of uncertainty, she becomes emotionally invested. This is why the most unforgettable relationships aren't the smooth, predictable ones. They are the ones filled with ups and downs, passion and intensity. If a relationship becomes too stable, too routine, it starts to lose its excitement. Women crave emotional contrast, the feeling of never fully knowing what's coming next. This doesn't mean being manipulative or playing games, but it does mean keeping things fresh and unpredictable. A man who can shift between being playful and serious, who can surprise her in ways both big and small, keeps her engaged. It's the reason why some women stay hooked on certain men, even if they don't understand why. It's the emotional highs and lows that create a sense of addiction. The key is balance. A man must provide a sense of security while also triggering emotions that make her heart race. Too much chaos, and she will feel unstable. Too much stability, and she will feel bored. But when a man can mix comfort with excitement, certainty with mystery, he becomes unforgettable. Women are drawn to the men who make them feel something deep, something they can't quite put into words. That's the kind of emotional connection that lingers in her mind long after you're gone. Attraction isn't random. It follows deep psychological patterns that most men never take the time to understand. Throughout this video, we've uncovered the 10 hidden weaknesses that every woman has, the triggers that bypass logic and go straight to her emotions. From dominance and leadership to the power of mystery, from the impact of your voice to the addictive nature of emotional highs and lows. These are the things that separate ordinary men from the ones women can't resist. It's important to remember that attraction isn't just about looks, money, or even charm. It's about psychology. The man who understands a woman's emotional world has the upper hand, not the one who chases or begs for her attention. The moment she feels like she can fully control you, the attraction starts to fade. But when you stand firm in your purpose, when you lead with confidence and remain just out of her reach, you become the man she craves. Mastering these psychological triggers isn't just about relationships. It's about becoming a stronger, more self-aware version of yourself. The key is not to manipulate, but to understand human nature and use it to your advantage. If you want to keep learning, keep growing, and keep sharpening your mind, subscribe to Master Stoic Secrets for more insights. Stay sharp, stay aware, and always stay ahead.